Well, what are they trying to prove with these new automobiles?
How do you mean?
110, 120, 130 miles an hour. Who drives that fast?
Not me.
Well, neither do I. They don't have to keep piling up more and more horsepower on my account.
Well, speed isn't the only thing. Greater horsepower can mean greater safety at lower speeds, more dependable operation, longer life, more comfort and convenience, if it's properly engineered.
Well, that's the trouble. I'm no engineer. I couldn't grease a wheelbarrow and guarantee it'd run. I want to buy a new car. I've been looking around, but I'm confused. All this torsion, twist, transmission, bifocal windshields, wraparound headlights and whatnot, I don't know what to buy.
I know what you mean.
If I were like this fellow MacCahill. Oh, did you ever read him?
Yes, I've read him. Lousy writer.
No, well, he really gets around all the different cars. Oh, here he is practically inside the engine of this one. And here he is doubled up in a sports car. He's a pretty big man to get trapped in one of those things.
You said it.
Hey, you know, you look a lot like him.
Not him. He's fat and bald.
Well, you're not so skin... well, what I mean, if you were wearing the same sports coat. Hey, by golly, that is the same sport coat.
Well, and by golly, I guess I'm the same fat boy in it. Okay, I'm Tom MacCahill.
Well, this is really a pleasure. I've been reading your stuff for years.
Well, thanks. I'm on my way to the coast right now to do another series of performance tests on some of the 58 cars. We take regular stock models, the same as you'd buy at your dealers, and test them side by side. When we get through, we know which one is the best make.
Boy, what I'd give to watch something like that.
I wish you could, too. It'd give us the chance to get a layman's reaction right on the spot. See, that's an idea. Why don't you come out with us this weekend?
Well, gosh, Hey, look, let me call my wife when we get in. Maybe I can fix it up.
Good.
Wow!
We transfer to a small plane to reach the special valley. We come out here because conditions are just about ideal. In an hour's drive, you can go from desert heat to mountain snows. In one day, you can duplicate driving conditions in all parts of the country.
So this is Manzanar, the remains of a ghost town at the foot of the high Sierras.
Manzanar was the Japanese relocation camp during World War II. Gives us the advantage of an abandoned airfield with big landing strips of concrete. We have 3 crews here, 1 to conduct the tests, 1 to check the cameras and equipment. As you can see, we have to be able to shoot from high angles once in a while. 1 to check every car to make sure it's at peak performance. Engines, brakes, tires, everything. Right now, we're sending the cars out to see which ones have the quickest acceleration when you need it. When all of a sudden you find you have less time to pass than you thought you had. I call this the GI Wonder Test.
The GI Wonder Test?
Mm-hmm. Did you ever pass a string of slow-moving cars and about halfway around find another car coming right at you?
I'll say.
Well, I don't know about you, but when it happens to me, I say, gee, I wonder if I'm going to make it.
Oh, I see. The GI Wonder Test. That's pretty good.
Actually, it's the passing ability test. This is where we find out what that extra horsepower is really for, if it's properly engineered. We start with Windsor and Mercury. The cars cross the line at 25 miles an hour. There, the drivers floor the accelerators. At 500 feet, the Windsor's 2.5 lengths ahead. The Windsor and the Olds 88, said to have the fastest pickup in the Oldsmobile line. At 500 feet, the Windsor's in front by 3 to 4 car lengths. The Windsor versus the Buick Super. We're using 2 cameras, one at the starting line and one at the 500-foot mark. Again, it's Windsor by 3 lengths. This is the New Yorker compared with the Buick Roadmaster. In a short burst of speed to pass, the New Yorker gains 4 to 5 lengths on the Buick. The Imperial and the Cadillac, both in drive range. Both floored to get all the quick power possible. In 500 feet, the Imperial beats the Caddy by 6 or 7 lengths. The Imperial and the Lincoln. These are all one continuous run, cutting from one camera to the other. Chrysler cars show more get-up-and-go power than their competition. Well, was out of, should I say, passing interest.
Well, I see what you mean about needing quick power for emergency passing.
There's another emergency we test for, over here. And this is the panic stop test. We're lining up the Windsor and the Olds 88 and the Buick Super. They'll cross the starting line at exactly 60 miles an hour. If they're all even, Dusty will give them the signal to slam on the brakes. Because we have set up that imitation tractor and hay wagon on the track, and the object is to stop before they hit the wagon.
Wow.
Well, in just a moment, we'll see how wow it is, because here they come. The Windsor, Olds, and Buick Super approach at 60 miles an hour. The wagons are at the rated safe stopping distance at 60. The Olds goes right through one wagon while the Buick plows into another. The Windsor stops well back. The Windsor and the Mercury. The Chrysler cars not only have more power, they have better control of it. Again, the Windsor stops short, but the Mercury nudges the wagon. Now the Imperial with Lincoln and Cadillac, same speed. Hit the brakes. The Imperial comes to a safe, straight line stop. The others can't stop in time.
Now, the third driver looks as though he might have a lawsuit in his hands, to say the least.
Not to mention a few teeth missing.
Now, the Chrysler cars seem to be the best, whether it's go power or stop power.
You ever see a test of turn power?
Well, not that I know of.
Come on. We set up these flags exactly 60 feet apart. Our cars are going to weave through them at 35 miles an hour. There goes the Windsor, as graceful and nimble and sure-footed as a cat. The Oldsmobile. At the third flag, the Olds rear end breaks loose and slides off the road. He misses the fourth flag and slides off again. Out of control. Buick Super. Same driver, same speed. Uh-oh. Same rear end breakaway. Same loss of control. Now the Mercury. It leans heavily. It swerves. The rear wheels slide off the shoulder. This is really a rough go. Then along comes the Saratoga. That makes it look so easy. You'd think the Chrysler cars were glued to the road. Next, the Buick Roadmaster. This Buick is equipped with airbags for springs, at extra cost. But airbags don't seem to help much on leans and swerves. It's half out of control. The Imperial is a long car, yet it negotiates the flags cleanly. Very little lean and no breakaway of the rear end. The Cadillac in the Imperial class develops considerable lean and swerve, and the rear end fishtails. There goes another flag. The driver has only partial control. Last, the Lincoln. It starts out all right, but soon it's in trouble. Every single car outside the Chryslers either missed the turn or hit a flag. There's another difference between torsion air and ordinary suspension. Coil springs or airbags.
I can see now there's more to power steering than just making it easier to park.
Come on, we're going up the Mount Whitney Road and do some more tests. Why don't you ride in the Imperial?
Oh, that did it. Let's go.
A Windsor and a Buick Super coast down this 18% grade with transmissions in low gear. This determines the braking you get out of an engine without using your brakes. Brakes used too much on hills heat up and fade. The Buick with down-the-flow transmission doesn't hold as well as the Windsor, by a length and a half. Next is the Windsor and the Oldsmobile. This engine braking test is pretty much a test of transmissions. Now it's the Chrysler torque flight against Oldsmobile Hydromatic. The torque flight holds better than the Hydromatic. Now it's the Windsor torque flight versus Mercury's Mercomatic. This particular quality doesn't mean much on the level, but on hilly driving it means a whale of a lot. We're going to use this sharp curve for another test. For stability and hard turns. The established safe speed around here is 25 miles an hour. Our drivers are going to take it at 50 to see how steady each car can hang in there. Here comes the Windsor, and around the corner like a West Point cadet. And now the Buick Super. The rear end breaks loose. Next, the Oldsmobile. It holds a little better, but the rear end still breaks away some. The Mercury. The driver each time makes every effort to follow the same pattern, but all cars don't react the same. Here's the New Yorker, hugging the curve as if it was on a track. No sway, no lean, no breakaway. The Buick Roadmaster. On airbags you pay extra for. Not much difference between this car and the Buick Super, is there? Now the Imperial. It's glued to the road and corners as flat as a bookkeeper's chest. This is the Cadillac on coil springs. Again the rear end breaks loose. And last, Lincoln. Why don't the Chrysler slide off the road? The answer is torsion air. Here's a perfect spot to see how these cars stand up under a series of hard natural bumps. This particular 100 yards of road is as rough as you'll find anywhere. In the bump test, we send each car over the road in turn. First, the Windsor. Now the Oldsmobile. It really noses down after the first bump. Let's compare these two runs in split screen and slow motion, so we can see how each car reacts after a bump. The Windsor levels off quickly. The Oldsmobile continues to pitch, fore and aft the whole stretch. Next, the Mercury. This car does quite a bit of bottoming. In slow motion, we see the right front wheel of the Mercury leaves the road briefly after the initial bump. It leaves the road 3 more times in this stretch, and the car pitches all the way, whereas the Windsor wheels never lose contact with the road and are always under control. The Buick Super. Buick has the standard coil spring suspension, same as last year. Compare them in slow motion. The Windsor rides steady, but Buick coil springs have very little control over bounce or pitching. Now the Chrysler Saratoga. Note the contrast. The wheels take a beating, but they stick to the road, and the body stays level. The Buick Roadmaster holds special interest because it's equipped with so-called air suspension at extra cost. But you can see for yourself that these airbags don't absorb the bumps compared to Saratoga with torsion air. They don't check the rocking motion. Airbags lack both control cushioning and snubbing qualities. Want to see something pretty? Watch this Imperial take the bumps, easily and evenly. Next is Cadillac. It noses heavily in front and pitches considerably. The Caddy is going to coil springs this year, both front and rear. A change for 58. But compared to the Imperial, they don't seem to help the ride much. There's a lot of seesawing still going on there. Now the Lincoln. It too has switched the coil springs all around for 58 in an attempt to improve the ride. But slow motion shows that compared to the Imperial, there is still a lot of rock and roll. There is just no car that rides as smoothly as a Chrysler with torch and air. Now it's our turn to ride. Let's climb on the camera car and I'll show you some real fun. This test will get these cars bouncing like a kangaroo with a pouch full of Tabasco.
Here's the test to end all torture road tests. We built a series of bumps so engineered and so located as to put the greatest possible strain on every part of a car's suspension system.
This road has more bumps and grinds built into it than a honky-tonk chorus girl. The cars follow each other at 40 miles an hour over one of the toughest courses possible. As you can see, these cars take a terrific beating, and the drivers don't have too soft a time of it either. Let's watch these tests now and see some real action. The first two cars over this course will demonstrate how the lower-priced cars take this pounding. The Windsor is pacing the Mercury at 40 miles an hour. Here is the same run in slow motion. Two cameras have been used to record this series of tests. This way, the results can be seen both in regular and slow motion. The torture road, as you can see, has been built to put cars through the severest kind of punishment. This is to compare the life and durability of the suspension systems. At slow motion camera speed, every detail of these cars' reactions can be studied. Note the difference between torsion air ride and coil spring ride. Now the Windsor hits the torture test with the Oldsmobile. At least it's in their pitching. As you can see, both front end, back end, and sideways. Now in slow motion, you can see how these cars are punished as they hit the ramps and bounce into the air. Often with all four wheels off the ground, and then come crashing down with a jolt that would knock the teeth out of a curry comb. These ramps are designed to twist and throw the cars to the side, as well as up and down. See how the Oldsmobile pitches and is difficult to control as it hits these bumps. The Windsor hits and recovers almost instantly, and with ease. Here we see the Windsor and the Buick Super in action. Look at the difference. Now the same run in slow motion. And incidentally, this is the same Windsor that ran the first two tests. Remember, the Chrysler products travel this course again and again and again. Look, both cars are completely airborne. All four wheels off the ground. The important thing is the quickness of recovery after the car comes down. The Buick continues to toss and pitch, while the torsion air ride levels the Windsor almost immediately. The New Yorker leading the Buick Roadmaster equipped with airbag suspension. But something's going wrong. Let's see it again in slow motion. The test drivers have to be strapped into their seats because of the violent pitching and tossing, as you can see by watching the Buick. In fact, the Buick airbag broke loose. Watch the left rear wheel closely and you'll see it. There it goes, and there goes the whole left rear, sagging down to the rear axle. Now we see the Buick leaving the torture road. This is what happens when an airbag goes out. Next, the luxury cars. The Imperial sets the pace for the Lincoln. The Lincoln is all over the road. In slow motion, we see that the Lincoln is all up in the air over this test. And because of its soft suspension system, when it returns to Earth, it bottoms heavily, front and rear, and along its entire length. One of the rear coil springs was jarred completely out of its seat during this test, and both rear shocks were broken. The Imperial, not a scratch, and ready for another run. Now hang on to your hat, boy. The next one's a dilly. Just keep your eyes on the Cadillac. Now, the heavyweight championship, Imperial versus Cadillac. A 1-2 knockout. Let's see this in slow motion. Remember, this is as tough a test as you'll ever see, but one you would expect two quality cars to pass with ease. Incidentally, both rear shock absorber mounting brackets on the Cadillac have been torn loose from the frame. The Imperial with Torsionaire has taken the torture run for the second time and is ready to go again. Without a doubt, no other ride can compare with Torsionaire for safety, for comfort, for dependability.
And the last couple of days have certainly been an eye-opener to me.
Glad to have you sit in. And thanks for coming with me to the airport. I appreciate your driving this Windsor back to L.A.
Oh, I jumped at the chance. The Chrysler Corporation cars remind me of Miss America. Anyone that good-looking doesn't have to know how to cook. But here's one that does.
Well, there's an old engineering proverb that you can't have a truly functional car without beautiful lines. There's a good example ahead of us. I'll pull over and show you what I mean. That jet plane over there, that doesn't look any more like the aeroplane of 20 years ago than Jane Mansfield resembles Little Eva. A plane that flies 1,000 miles an hour has to be shaped differently than a crate that seldom hits 100. Advancement in speed forced refinements and streamlining. In other words, more functional styling. Automobile styling has followed a somewhat similar development, especially with Chrysler and Imperial. That's what they mean by the forward look. Compare this car with that jet. Both have flight sweep design. Even when standing still, they have the look of effortless flight. Notice the long, clean lines all going one way, the thinness of the roof line, the spaciousness of all the windows, especially the New Horizon windshield, the extra-large rear windows, all of which give the driver and passengers that open-air feeling. The tailored tail fins are a logical part of the flight sweep design, not a disorganized collection of scrap metal with less functional use than a bagpipe player and a Dixieland band. This basic new design has been enthusiastically received by the buying public. Last year's record sales increase proves that. That ought to make Chrysler dealers and Chrysler owners feel pretty good.
Makes me feel pretty good. There's no question in my mind what car we're about to buy.
Oh, good. Have a pleasant trip.
Same to you. So long.
Be seeing you. Well, there's one of my reports you won't have to wait to read in Mechanics Illustrated. You've seen it.
Here on the test track with 9 of America's fine automobiles, you'll see in action the Buick Century. The Buick Super, the Oldsmobile Super 88, the Oldsmobile 98, the Cadillac 62, the Chrysler Windsor, the Chrysler Saratoga, the Chrysler New Yorker, and the Imperial. The road tests you're about to take part in were filmed here on the Chrysler Engineering Proving Grounds at Chelsea, Michigan. Test conditions for all cars are guaranteed equal by Ross Roy Incorporated. Tests were run over a period of 4 weeks under all kinds of weather conditions, and each test was run many times to get a true performance picture of the cars. The test cars are not specially built Daytona racing models. They're cars any man can buy. They're production line automobiles obtained direct from dealers. The only optional equipment added is power steering, power brakes, and automatic transmissions. The cars have been tuned to factory specifications. Professional test drivers are behind the wheels. These are road tests, tough side-by-side road tests, the kind every new car buyer would like to make before reaching a decision. That's why we take you to the test track, where we'll see the Cadillac, the Imperial, and the New Yorker accelerate from 0 to 60 miles an hour with transmissions in drive range. Watch the car that takes the lead. When the driver turns on the headlights, that means he's hit 60. Watch now. Watch. There it is. It's the New Yorker, and as it hits 60 miles an hour, Imperial follows closely, and then Cadillac. Now it's the Buick Super, the Olds 98, and the Chrysler Saratoga in the same standing start acceleration run. You'll know the test is over when you see the winning car's headlights. There they are. When the Saratoga hits 60, it's ahead of the Olds 98 and far, far ahead of the Super. Now let's try the Century. Actually a hotter car than the Super, with Dynaflow in low. That's giving the Century its best range for acceleration, and we'll test it with the old Super 88 and the Chrysler Windsor, which are in drive range. Watch for the headlights. And there they are. Now we'll test them for highway passing ability. So let's switch to a test for acceleration from 25 to 70 miles an hour. The Cadillac, Imperial, and New Yorker are cruising at 25 now, and there they go. Transmissions are in drive range. You'll see the headlights signal when the lead car hits 70. There's the finish. New Yorker, Imperial, Cadillac. Now it's the Buick Century, old Super 88, and the Chrysler Windsor. Decide for yourself which car in this price group you'd rather be driving when there's a chance to pass on a crowded highway. Watch for the lights. It's Windsor with ease. Buick Super, Olds 98, and the Chrysler Saratoga take the 25 to 70 mile an hour test. Again, the transmissions are in drive range when the drivers get the signal to accelerate. And when Saratoga hits 70, Buick and Olds follow as they wind up this test for safe passing performance. But you're on the test track to see the toughest kinds of road tests. So take a ride down the steepest paved hill in America. This is a 32% grade, and it's the final test for brute acceleration power. Here's Cadillac at 300 horsepower and Imperial at 325 horsepower. Let's watch our two most expensive test cars climb this hill in drive range. Here they come. It's Imperial leading Cadillac to the top. Now we're watching the Windsor against the General Motors car that showed the fastest acceleration in the 0 to 60 tests. So it's Windsor against old Super 88. Both transmissions are in drive range. And there's your test result. Chrysler has the go power, but can it match it with stop power? Let's find out as the New Yorker, Imperial, and Cadillac take a panic stop test from 60 miles an hour. If they're exactly even, they'll get the flag. Drivers hit the brake pedals with full force. There's your road test evidence. Here comes Windsor, old Super 88, and Buick Century at 60 miles an hour. Watch the Buick and Olds. Those GM brakes grab sometimes. And it's Windsor, Oldsmobile second, and Buick third and off the road as we wind up these tests for stopping ability under emergency conditions. Of course, there's another condition that some drivers have faced, brake fade. To test for brake fade out here on the track, the New Yorker, Imperial, and Cadillac are completing a series of 5 quick stops from 60 miles an hour. This will heat up the linings and make them fade. That is, lose some of their stopping ability. We'll start the cars side by side on the 6th stop and see which one has the greatest resistance to brake fade. There it is. The New Yorker stops first, Imperial second, and Cadillac shows the most brake fade. The same test now for the lower-priced cars. They're completing the series of 5 brutal high-speed stops. They cruise side by side at 60, get the flag. There's your finish. Windsor, old Super 88, Buick Century. So you've been on the test track for side-by-side braking tests, which show that Chrysler-built automobiles have the stop power to match their go power. And now we're riding in the Cadillac to check for steering ease. The driver is taking us through the pylons by steering with a special steering effort wheel. It measures the amount of muscle required by the car's power steering system. We're doing a steady 15 miles an hour. And that special wheel is registering 6 1/10 pounds of effort for the left turns and 5 9/10 pounds of effort for the right turns. Now we're inside the Imperial to see how much muscle the same driver needs to steer the same course at the same speed. That steering effort wheel is registering 2 9/10 pounds of effort on the left turns and 3 3/10 pounds of effort on the right turns. So the Imperial takes about half the manual effort Cadillac does. Yes, there's quite a difference in power steering systems. But steering effort is just a part of steering control. So let's test for safe handling by taking these pylons at 40 miles an hour. This is the Windsor. Now the Saratoga with the same driver. These pylons are only 60 feet apart. So any car that can wind through them at 40 miles an hour certainly shows safe control. Here's the New Yorker. Next, the old Super 88. Same driver, same speed, same test. Now it's the Olds 98. A test like this indicates how quickly the rear end will break loose on slippery pavement or loose gravel. The Buicks take their turn with the Century first. This kind of test also shows how much control the owner will have if he has to steer around a sudden obstacle. Here's the Super, a heavier car than the Century. Carrying that weight on 4 coil springs could make it a little difficult to... Well, let's see where he landed. You've heard about the stability that's built into Chrysler automobiles. You're seeing what a difference this makes. Now the Cadillac, General Motors' best. The on-again, off-again action of its part-time power steering could... Well, there's the end of the test. Here's the Imperial, heaviest and biggest car on the track. It's shaving him mighty close under the same conditions that threw the other cars off the road. Here's a test for stability under more normal conditions. The Windsor is going around a curve that's marked for a safe speed of 25 miles an hour. It's taking it at 50 to see if it has an extra margin of safety. In the same price class, the old Super 88. Look at him turn on the power to pull out of that skid and keep out of the ditch. Now the Buick Century. The Saratoga. Notice that the Chrysler cars can take these curves at 50 with less lean. That means more than comfort. It means safe control, too. Just compare it with the Olds 98. It's a good thing it's a professional driver taking this curve at 50. This is the Buick Super. The Chrysler New Yorker. Full-time power steering with a constant feel of the wheel and with less steering wheel turning helps in a situation like this. Watch the Cadillac. Now the Imperial. Same 50 miles an hour. The Imperial makes the test look easy. Driving control that's safe, sure, and easy. Stopping power that's positive. Accelerating power that's quick and ready. These are just some of the driving qualities for which you'd like to road test these cars. But how about a comfortable car? For instance, how about a car that doesn't pitch you back in your seat at every traffic light? You'll see a difference when the Century and the Windsor accelerate in slow motion. Keep your eyes on the horizontal bars and notice the difference as Century dips low in the rear. Now it's the Olds 98 accelerating with Chrysler Saratoga. Cadillac 62 and the Imperial. They both burn rubber, but one squats low in the rear, the other rises and takes off. Now let's move to a much tougher test for comfort. A country railroad crossing that's deceiving to the eye. Looks like any car could take this crossing at 30 miles an hour, doesn't it? All right, let's see what happens to the Buick Century. Watch that rear end. Let's try the old Super 88. See how long the front wheels can stay off the ground. And notice how long it takes this car to level out after the bump. Here's the Windsor in the same price class. Watch again to see how long it takes the car to level out. Torsion Air Ride brings it to a flat ride again pretty quick, doesn't it? Let's step up one price class. Watch to see if the Buick Super's front wheels take off. See if you can count how many times the front end rises and falls after the bump. Now the Olds 98. Watch that rear bumper when it bites dirt. Let's try the Saratoga. See if Oriflow shock absorbers can level off the car quickly for a smooth ride. Now we'll test the higher-priced group. Here's New Yorker. Look for the effect of Chrysler Corporation's synchronized springing on this car. Cadillac, a good car, a luxurious car, but at 30 miles an hour, it bounces. Just compare it with the Imperial. Would you like to make this comparison in regular motion? Cadillac, Imperial. Like to move up close and see what the front ends do in slow motion? Watch the wheels on this old Super 88. The Buick Century. Watch the rocks fly. The Chrysler Windsor. Had you wondered if Torsionaire was just an advertising slogan? Try the Buick Super. Now the Saratoga. No rocks and no roll. The Olds 98. Watch the front bumper. Take the New Yorker. You could take the Cadillac. But here's the Imperial. Care to ride over these tracks in slow motion? You're inside the Imperial. This is the effect of Torsionaire suspension from inside the car. Now, take a ride at the same speed in a Cadillac. Feel it bobbing? Now, let's watch the Windsor follow the Super on the specially built Torture Road. It's taking the same bumps and dips, but look at the difference. Here's the Saratoga following the Olds 98 over the Torture Road. And here comes the Imperial following the Cadillac. Is there a difference between torsion bar springs and coil springs? You're on the test track to see the difference. You're on the test track at the Chrysler Engineering Proving Grounds near Chelsea, Michigan. You've seen cars competing in the toughest kind of side-by-side road tests. Cars with standard engines. Family cars with no optional performance equipment other than what the average man buys. Automatic transmission, power brakes, and power steering. The results of the road test you've witnessed can be duplicated by anyone who duplicates the conditions. But you don't need a proving ground to demonstrate the difference between Chrysler or Imperial and other makes. In your own hometown, there are places where you can demonstrate every one of the Chrysler advantages you've seen proved on the test track. Go power, stop power, comfort, safe control, and easy handling. There are places where you can make these benefits come alive for the prospect, right within driving distance of your own dealership. Find the places in and around town where you can demonstrate the Chrysler superiorities. Then make your plan for selling them. You can start with style, for these long, low cars don't need a showroom background. As you drive along the street, ask your prospect to notice how high the other cars look. As for stopping power, the prospect can try a panic stop from 60 if he wants to, but you'll do just as well if you point out that Mr. Prospect can stop quickly, yet stop smoothly, stop flat, Stop with a feeling of firm control at any stop sign. Flat starts? Starting without squatting is a Chrysler Comfort exclusive. Why not ask a man to notice it as he steps on the gas? Flat cornering? The pylons help prove that Chrysler is safer and easier to handle around the turns. But you can make the same point as you go around any corner, for it's a fact that Chrysler leans less on turns, and it'll be a sales point if you bring it to Mr. Prospect's attention. Comfort? Sure, nobody drives over country railroad crossings all day, but few people do all their driving on smooth boulevards either. So it makes sense to pick a rough spot in your town and show how Chrysler handles it. Performance? Quick bursts of power for safe passing? Chrysler has it. And your prospect can prove it for himself on any open highway near town. That's what's important. You were on the test track to see the side-by-side evidence that Chrysler welcomes a comparison with anybody's car. But it's during your demonstration that a prospect learns for himself the reasons why he should buy a Chrysler.